Hello and welcome to another midweek message. Here we go again, Wednesday. Doesn't it come round quickly? Okay, 16 degrees centigrade, which is 60 Fahrenheit, 73% humidity, 1017 millibars on the old barometer, and the flag is getting a bit tatty actually. I must buy a new one, it's ripped. It's been up there about a year. What's it doing? It's blowing from the west, so we've got a bit of a wind from the west. But, to be honest, we have had dreadful weather. It's July and most of July has been atrocious. It really has. It's not summer and the trouble is we're running out of time. This is the problem. We are now, where are we? 24th of July, August next, September, and then we look forward to, I'm not going to mention the C word, don't worry, in December. Not going to mention the C word. Counting down shopping day. Stop it. Anyway. Let's hope we get a decent August. We have another week of July, of course, and September can be nice here in Britain. Now, here's something to shock you, or maybe not. I heard on the telly this morning, sales of soap and shampoo slump 11% since 2019. And what was the rest of the headline? Something about 11% of Britons smelling, or something like that. One person it's a kind of news programme, where they have a panel of people all shouting over each other. One person said it's probably because a lot of people now are working from home. And when you work from home, you drag yourself out of bed, don't bother to wash or do your hair, chuck some old clothes on or stay in your pyjamas, get a cup of coffee and sit at the computer and log in. That's it, you're at work. So people don't bother. I mean, there might be something in that. People don't bother to wash and get ready for work as you would if you had to go out to the office or wherever your place of work might be. You just drag yourself out of bed and slump at the computer keyboard. Right, that's it, I've logged in, I'm at work. I don't know, that's a possibility. They were also talking on the telly about violent crimes against women and girls. It's up 40% since 2018. That's coming from the police, apparently. And one of the ladies on the panel was saying that if she walks anywhere at night, she's walking home, she's afraid there might be someone following her. Might be a few yards behind, but the footsteps are there and it's dark and there's no one around apart from whoever it is following her. It must be frightening. Do you know, I don't go out so much at night now, but when I used to, if I was walking home late at night from a pub or a nightclub or something, if there was a girl or a woman in front of me, I would stop and wait till she got a good few yards, maybe even 50 yards ahead of me, or I would cross over. I wouldn't follow her kind of 5 yards behind because it's frightening for them. She doesn't know who I am or what I might do. It's frightening for them. I don't know why people don't do that. It's awful being followed at night. I've been followed, well, not followed at night, but I remember in the old days I'd walk home and someone, perhaps a couple of lads, behind me. Only a few yards behind me, so I'd turn into a side road on my way home. They'd turn into the side road. It is worrying. And that was back then, in the 60s and 70s. And these days, of course, it's a lot worse. So, yes, I can understand that. But isn't it awful, though? What did it say? I've written it down here, look. Violent crimes against girls and women up 40%. And that's since 2018. That's not so long ago. Moving on, email from Jeff. Hello, Jeff. Jeff's talking about pubs. That's a good subject, pubs. Not that there are any left these days, of course, Jeff. They've all gone. Where are you, up north somewhere? Jeff says that pubs were, I like that, were, past tense, social meeting places. And they were. That's a good way to put it. What did I say? I mentioned that they're a hub of the community and, we'd go in there after work or weekends or something. And we'd all meet up and have a chat, bit like social media, but face to face. And you're right, Jeff, they were social meeting places, public houses, as the term says, public houses. You all go there and have a chat and a few beers. Thanks for that, Jeff. Nice to hear from you. Thank you to everyone else who has emailed me. If you've anything to say, raise rants at protonmail.com. If you want to have a look at the website, raiserants.info. I've been painting the kitchen ceiling. We've had the tiling all done. I'm painting the walls above the tiles, the ceiling itself. Do you know, you don't realise, do you? You don't realise how old you're getting until you start trying to do something like paint the ceiling. Reaching up there, stretching. Oh, my back hurts. Anyway, I'm about to do the second coat today, which is good. Then the ceiling's done at least. The walls have had a first coat. They need a second coat. Luckily, most of it's tiled. So that's my job at the moment. How are you doing? What are you up to? Anything interesting? Are you decorating? People don't decorate so much these days, do they? With the double glazed windows, there's nothing to paint outside. And inside, what do people have inside? It's just flat, plain walls, isn't it, these days? Flat ceiling, no artex or pattern or anything like that. Just plain walls with perhaps one or two photos. But the walls have to be painted, of course. Now, this weekend, moving on to something completely different, this weekend I'm going back to my old village, which isn't far away, where I used to live. I left there, Struth, 40 years ago it must be. Must be heading for 40 years ago I left the village. And I'm going to go back and have a little look round to see what changes have taken place over the 4 decades. I think we've talked before, haven't we, about villages disappearing. When I say disappearing, local towns nearby kind of spread out. They sprawl, don't they, and encroach on the village. So the village is no longer a separate little settlement or dwelling place. It's not surrounded by fields anymore. It's surrounded by concrete, which I don't know why I'm laughing. It's dreadful. And this little village where I used to live, it is still surrounded by fields, which is rather nice. I was watching Out of Town recently. I think I told you about that. Jack Hargreaves, do you remember Out of Town on Southern Television here in Britain? All about the countryside and fishing and all this stuff. And he was saying that the villages in Dorset, now this is years ago, these Out of Town programmes are from the 1980s. And he was saying then that villages in Dorset were disappearing. I'm not quite sure whether I don't think they were being encroached on, but I don't know what happened exactly, but they were disappearing. It is a shame. I do like separate little towns and villages. No, not little, that's the wrong word to use, isn't it? We've got a town near us, Lancing. It's made up of villages. It was Lancing Village, Cokham, Sompting. There's a couple of others I can't remember offhand. And they're all now one place. Well, I think Lancing is now a town rather than a village, and it's made up of all the little villages. Well, London is, isn't it? London was dozens and probably hundreds of little villages that all became one. I know a lot of people say, well, we need housing, so if there is a field between, say, a town and a village, then build on the field. So then the village no longer becomes a separate entity. It's just part of the town, swallowed up, eaten up by the concrete monster. John, thank you to you for the links. Liverpool Overhead Railway, that's all interesting. I like railways. Thank you very much for that, John. Really good to have a look at all the pictures and the video links you've sent me. That's good. Fortunately, there are quite a lot of YouTube videos from the old days, 60s, even 50s and earlier. It's really interesting to look back and see the traffic then, the cars, the houses, the streets, just how they were. That's what I like about it. That's why I like the old black and white films from the 30s and 40s. And even earlier than that, they were silent films, weren't they, if you go back too far, where people like Charlie Chaplin walked around quickly. Why do they walk quickly? Something to do with the film, isn't it? I don't know. Oh, thanks also for all your emails about the Butlins holiday I had. Trish and I with number 2 daughter and grandson. Some of you love the idea of Butlins. Wow, I want to go there. And others have said, I don't know why you go to such a dreadful place. It's one of those things, isn't it? It's like Marmite. You love it or hate it. But it was good fun. We did it for the boy, which is good. The boy, we call him the boy, because he's got 3 older sisters. Is it older or elder? I've no idea. No doubt you'll tell me. Raise Rants at protonmail.com. I'm looking forward to visiting my old village. I shall do that. Where are we? It's Wednesday already. So I've got to get that ready for Sunday. Probably pop out there tomorrow. It's not too far, just a little car journey. Trish and I will do that. We'll go out there together, have a little walk around and see what's changed over the 40 odd years. I'm sure there have been a lot of changes. I have driven through the village before, but when you're driving, you don't sort of notice too much. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to get on with decorating the kitchen, so I will see you all on Sunday. Have a good week, or what's left of the week, half a week. Hope you're okay, keeping well. Be good. If you're bad, don't get caught. Why do I say that every week? Do you know, not one person has emailed and said, why do you say that every week? Look after yourselves. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.